minutes of the show. But hey, at least we're evened out at this point. Okay, let's get to the great Kamala crash. Give you a sense of what's happening there. We talked about it this morning on radio, but got more information, so I'm going to bring that to you now. The Dow closed down just over 1,000. Today, trillions were wiped from the market. To be clear, not just $1 trillion. I'm talking $3.8 trillion has been wiped from the stock and crypto markets within the last week. 3.8 trillion with a T. So I think sometimes when we hear about trillions or numbers that size, it's very difficult to wrap your mind around just how big that number really, truly is. In fact, these numbers are thrown around all the time in Congress. Oh, we have a $4 trillion budget or $1 trillion in debt. And you're just like, a trillion. And I know we know it's a lot, but sometimes I think that we don't know just how massive that number is. So I tried to throw together a couple of examples for the show to give you a sense of just how much money that is. The height of a stack of 1 trillion $1 bills measures 67,866 miles. So the height of a stack, like stacked on top of each other, $1 bills, $1 trillion worth of $1 bills, 67,866 miles. This would reach more than 1/4 of the way from the Earth to the moon. Now, we're talking almost $4 trillion wiped out in the last week. So stack those bad boys one on top of the other $4 trillion, and guess what? You get to the moon. We're talking stacks of dollar bills. Or how about this? An area covered by 1 trillion $1 bills measures 3,992 square miles, which would cover an area equal to twice the size of Delaware, my wife's home state. But again, we're not talking about 1 trillion. We're talking about $4 trillion. And how about the length of 1 trillion $1 bills laid end to end? So that's looks like 96,900,656 miles. And that would exceed the distance from the Earth to the sun. And again, that's only 1 trillion. That's not 4 trillion. We're talking 4 round trips from the Earth to the sun. Or how about this? It would take a military jet flying at the speed of sound, reeling out a roll of dollar bills behind it 14 years before it reeled out $1 trillion. Is that not insane? But again, that's 1 trillion we're talking for. But my point is, you get the point, right? So obviously this crash will go down in history as the largest destruction of wealth in human history. And all of this is made possible because of Biden and Harris. And the media, a couple things about the media right now. They're trying to say, well, Trump had a recession. The country went into a recession in Trump's final year in office for a very little bit. And that is because of COVID. That is because we shut down a $1 trillion plus economy for no reason at all. We crushed our supply chain for really not saying that COVID wasn't real. I'm questioning the policy of lockdowns. So that created a small recession, a recession that lasted for a very short amount of time. Because of Trump's fiscal and monetary policies and the strength of his underlying economy prior to COVID, we were able to snap out of it very, very quickly. So, and also it was in the midst of this pandemic at the time, hindsight being 2020. Of course, we know a lot more about it now, but at the time we didn't know how deadly it was going to be. It's not. So my point is, it's like comparing apples to oranges. What's happening today is a direct result of fiscal and monetary policy made possible from the Biden administration. They printed trillions of dollars for no real reason, which caused inflation to go through the roof. Inflation outpaced wage growth. Commodities, I'm talking food and gasoline, skyrocketed. I went through the stats this morning on the Wendy Bell radio program. Like we're talking 30% in some areas of cost of utilities, and in some cases 60% on the cost of food. So everything that we're experiencing now is because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And so Trump has immediately come out and first of all, he called this. The guy is right about everything, but he branded this the Kamala crash. And that's exactly right. And then he struck what I like to call a contrast. Contrasts are everything in an election. Why should people vote for you? The best way to do that and answer that question is to draw a contrast. Trump cash versus Kamala crash. Trump cash, Kamala crash. Nobody is better in the world at this stuff than Donald J. Trump. Let me give you